I killed myself after an 11-year-old girl was rescued at sea. The reason why will have you in shock. My name is Julian Harvey and I am a boat captain. I was the captain for a luxury yacht and was taking a family from Fort Lauderdale, Florida to the Bahamas. The first 5 days of the trip were going great and I was getting along great with the family. However, on the 5th night something went wrong with the boat and it began rapidly sinking. I quickly hopped on the dinghy as I watched the boat sink and be fully submerged. A few days later, I was alerted that a little girl who was on the yacht when it sank actually survived and was found. After hearing this news, I went to my motel room and ended my life. Why, you may ask? Well, that's because I lied to the Coast Guard. You see, on the 5th night of the trip, I drowned and stabbed the entire family on the yacht, except for the little girl. When I got on the dinghy, I assumed she would drown as the ship was almost fully underwater. Now that she was alive, I knew the truth of the story would come to light. I could not handle the situation and ended my life. Follow for more stories.
Not the deep one. Then they can remove me off the plane. You and your whole
So then
family.
it's going to be a federal offense, and then you and your wife will be in jail, and your kids will be.
Okay, okay. So my kid, wait. So my wife, we're gonna be in jail, and my kids are gonna be what?
It's a federal offense if you don't abide by.
I bought that seat.
Okay, I understand it's your Mesa. My Mesa's out here.
Right.
So you still.
Right. I paid. I got him a ticket on another flight so that my son would have a seat. And you're saying you're just gonna give that away to someone else that when I paid for that seat. That's not right.
I just want to introduce myself. I'm Jenna. I'm in charge. I know you guys are frustrated. Hi. I'm sorry. I already know the situation. I've heard you guys said I know the man. Other than what's going on, is there anything else I can do? I know you guys are frustrated now. Basically what it comes down to is not adultable, it's FAA because he's 2 and under.
Okay, I got a solution. He can sit in her lap.
Right.
Okay, and then we can take off, and then we can put him back in the car seat. That's what FAA rules are.
No,
the bottom line
with
is
him being, no they're not. We're pulling him up right now. With him being 2, he cannot sit in a car seat. That's the purpose of infant arms. He has to sit in your arms the whole time. He can, technically he couldn't even be on a seat.
He rode on a car seat the whole way out here on a Delta flight.
And that's unfortunate. Unfortunately, I don't know what to tell you. I'm just trying to do the best I can now. But what I'm letting you know is unfortunately, he can't be there. I wish I could help you guys. I really do.
What you're saying makes no sense because we flew out here on a Delta plane and he sat in a car seat.
According to the rules we're pulling out right now, he technically cannot be in a car seat because of infant arms.
Okay,
they're doing it right now, and they're going to clarify before I misspeak.
Okay.
So I'll just stop you there. They're doing it, and they're going to print it out in black and white, so that way whether I'm wrong or they're wrong, that doesn't matter. The situation is this plane is not going to move until we get you guys up, and that's fine. We can all sit here all night if that's what you guys want to do.
Okay, but that's wrong.
I get that it's wrong.
I paid for that seat.
I understand, and that person left, and then now you don't want anyone there, so you want another passenger not to sit there the whole flight. I get that.
I paid for the seat.
I understand
right.
that. I understand that.
Okay, but if your stance is that he cannot be in that seat when the plane takes off. Okay,
no, he cannot be in a seat at all because he's an infant arms. And I get that it was handles.
Wait, he can't be here at all.
No, in a seat. He can't occupy a seat because he's 2 years old, and that's FAA regulations. So,
no one's ever told. Then how did we get out here?
I don't know, and that's what I'm saying.
And also, too, how did we get through security with 2 kids, 2 car seats, go all the way through your gateway and through the gate, and then they come down and say that we have to get off this plane, and that's the seat you're talking about. So you're basically gonna remove my.
I'm not gonna. It's out of my hands now. I'm just letting you know from this point on, this plane will not go anywhere until you guys fix it. Now you can sit here. We can all just chill here. I'm just trying to help you. This is all I can do. I'm only in my hands now.
Trying to help us would have been not overselling the flight and not trying to force us to get him out of that seat that I paid for and holding this whole plane. Him out of that seat that I paid for and holding this whole plane up. It would have been a lot easier for you guys to just say, not have that standby come down and we could be on our way.
I get that too. I wish it would.
So why didn't that happen? Why isn't that happening?
I don't know. But as far as I know, he can no longer occupy that seat. So like I said, I'm just giving you what's left. So it's your choice. We can sit here for the next 4 hours if you want, 5 hours. Sit here until tomorrow, but this plane will not be here. And so I told you guys, I wanted to give you guys a courtesy to introduce myself, and I get that that's not helping you.
How was that giving us a courtesy?
You know what? I was just coming to say hi and try to be, but I apologize. I shouldn't be accepting. I'll let them handle it, and then you guys can go from there. Okay? Okay, so go. Yeah, they're coming. Thank you.
Okay, so this is where we're at now at this point. They've asked him to have you guys all off the flight, or we're gonna retain the whole aircraft and see what you're gonna do after.
So we're getting kicked off this plane no matter what now.
Yeah, I told you that in the beginning. You had two options, and now it's come too far.
So what are we supposed to do? I got 2 infants and my wife who have nowhere to stay. There's no more flights. What are we supposed to do? Sleep in the airport? No. You should have thought about that before you oversold the flight. I paid for that seat. I paid for that seat.
Sure.
So we're getting kicked off the
Which option
plane.
did you want to take? Did you want to get off on your own?
So wait, what are we supposed to do once we're off this plane?
That is not up to me and the rest of everybody.
Well, it should be.
It's not. At this point, you guys are on your own.
Unbelievable. You guys are unbelievable. Great customer service. Awesome. Great job.
Do y'all remember this terrible case of the couple who went to a hospital in Georgia to have their baby, and during delivery the baby was decapitated and the hospital tried to cover it up? The couple didn't find out for days. The doctors allegedly wrapped the baby up so tight in the blanket so the parents would not know what happened. Well, it is now coming out that the parents are suing the doctor who performed the private autopsy because apparently they posted pictures and videos online to social media.
Last month is when lawyers for the family filed that initial lawsuit claiming a doctor botched the delivery of the couple's child and claimed those at Southern Regional Medical Center in Clayton County tried to hide it by not allowing the mother to hold the child and encouraging the couple to get the baby cremated. Now, their lawyers say the doctor who the couple paid to perform a private autopsy posted pictures and videos on social media of the baby and the examination and the autopsy he performed without the couple's permission. Now, in a lawsuit filed earlier this month against Dr. Jackson Gates, lawyers claim he did this solely to gain likes and followers. However, Dr. Gates posted on social media that his posts are educational and said in a statement he posted this week that he never identified the baby in the posts. This is what one of the family's attorneys said in response to that this afternoon.
The fact that he doesn't have any appreciation of how wrong it is probably explains why he did it. I mean, this is diabolical. I mean, it is something wrong with that. This child got decapitated. This young couple just suffered one of the worst losses any human beings could ever suffer. And they were manipulated by the hospital. And now they're manipulated again. Wow.
Trigger warning, everybody. This case involves a potential SA on this 2-year-old little girl named Ariana from El Paso, Texas. So on September 11th, her mom takes her to her daycare. It's called Little Kings in Queens, and receives a call around 11:30 in the morning from a worker there stating that baby Ariana had blood in her diaper. This worker also states that she noticed during the first diaper change that blood was not present. So she, of course, comes to get her, takes her to an ER where she is seen and evaluated. This is a document from that hospital. And if you look at the top here, it does say hymen abnormality. That was after they did a kit on her. SA of a child and vaginal abrasion. Now, this is the owner right here. His name's Joel Estrada. And so, of course, Ariana's mom went to confront him and asked to see the surveillance videos. And he just kind of rolls his eyes at her and goes inside and refuses to allow her to see any camera footage. The El Paso Command Center apparently didn't even start investigating this until the very next day, which was yesterday, September 12th. Now, as you can see, there was a protest outside of the daycare because despite this investigation going on, they remain open. They apparently let other families know that they were being investigated, but everything is still open and functioning. Apparently, the lead detective on the case told Ariana's mom basically to stay quiet and just let them do their job and not make a big deal out of it. But of course, she is not doing that, and I don't blame her at all. She is on Facebook talking about it, showing photos, videos. There is even a photo of the diaper that Ariana had on. So anyway, you can hop over there and check that out. But I feel like this case absolutely needs attention. If it's true, then they need to be shut down because this is unacceptable and this family needs justice.
Ruby Frankie's family is speaking up and they are calling BS on the SA allegations that Ruby has made about her children, and they are saying that they know what broke up Kevin and Ruby and talk about Jodi, and they have a ton of information to spill, including that she was starving her children in front of other people in other people's homes. Guys, make sure and click the plus sign. This is part 2. Go check out part 1, and I want to keep you up to date with this whole situation. Sound off in the comments. Tell me what you think about all this. But I'm just going to go ahead and let them speak. This is from thedailymail.com. They spoke exclusively, and here's part 2 of what they had to say. So this says, Jennifer added that the rest of the Frankies looked down on Ruby for starting her popular YouTube channel 8 Passengers. She says when they started doing their YouTube channel, no one on the Frankie side of the family wanted any part of it. We thought, how can you be taking care of your kids and filming them, Jennifer said. Good question. Last week, the Mormon mom at times broke down as she made shocking claims that one of her minor children SA'd their siblings and did it to several other family members and children in the neighborhood over the years. Up to 20, she said. Seeming to pin the blame for the behavior on her children, Frankie went into horrific detail about how one of the 6 kids SA'd the other. And it says, in one of the most shocking claims, Frankie said that her child had been SA'ing a younger sibling for years, adding that eventually the 2 of them began doing it to each other. She also claimed her 2 children played a patting game with each other but did not go into further detail. And she said in May her child confessed to doing it to 20 people, including cousins and neighbors. Jennifer said that many of the Frankies grew suspicious of Ruby's business partner Jodi Hildebrandt. From what I understand, Ruby really started to change when she became mixed up with Jodi Hildebrandt, Jennifer said. A lot of the family started to believe that Ruby and Jodi may have had more than a professional relationship. Frankie was arrested and charged along with her business partner Hildebrandt last month. Both have been previously criticized for their teachings on parenting, collaborating on Hildebrandt's life counseling service Connections. Jennifer said the family heard that Jodi moved into the Frankies' house between 2021 and 2022. Didn't know she moved in. Jennifer said she heard at some point Ruby and Kevin started to go to Jodi and her company Connections for marriage counseling. It was a cult. Kevin was in the men's group at Connections. He had a checklist of what he needed to do to be better, and if you did things, you would praise you, and if you didn't, they would chastise you. When Jodi moved into the family's Springville marital home, one of the first things she did was separate Ruby and Kevin. It was almost like the movie War of the Roses. Ruby was living on one side of the house and Kevin was living on the other. Kevin couldn't talk to Ruby unless Jodi was present. Kevin moved out last July 2022. He lived in a townhouse near the family home where he had a minder from Connections that would stay with him at the townhouse and watch over him. Jennifer said that Ruby and Kevin's oldest child, Sherry, 20, came to her and said she wasn't allowed to speak to her father. Sherry told us that Kevin was kicked out last July 2022, and at the time, we never knew about Jodi and the influences she would have on the family. At the time, Sherry told us, my dad won't talk to me. He wouldn't take phone calls or answer emails. She continued telling Jennifer, my dad thinks he's a horrible person, and then Ruby and Jodi have him brainwashed believing that he is a bad person. Sherry tried contacting her father after he moved out, but he blocked everyone on social media, his cell phone and email. I feel bad for Kevin. He's almost brainwashed. I feel sorry for him. I've known Kevin since he was 11 years old. He's a good guy. Ruby and Jodi brainwashed him into moving out and abandoning his family. After Ruby was arrested, my husband called Kevin and told him if he needed anything to let him know. Kevin responded by saying, gaslighting is real and this is messed up. They think that Kevin was the victim in this situation, and they said he was always the more nurturing one in the relationship. I keep asking myself, why didn't Kevin go back for his children? I have to believe none of us know the entire story. In an Instagram story after her mom's arrest, Sherry celebrated her mother's arrest and said that she tried to tell CPS for years about this. Sherry also said she is so glad they finally decided to step up and that her siblings are safe. This is such an interesting article, and I'll tell you what, I'm inclined to believe them. These women are saying some of the same things and asking the same questions we have been asking, and it just breaks my heart because it sounds like and this is where I think I've been a bit torn in covering this story. If these two, Kevin and if Ruby did go to counseling, it's because they knew they had issues. They wanted to fix them, and I've been saying this for a while, and I think this is true. I think Ruby felt bad for the way she treated her kids. And instead of going to somewhere that could give them better parenting tools and marriage tools, they got Jodi, who in my perspective and opinion, emboldened this one, saying that the abuse was not only okay, it was righteous and good and she should continue doing it. What therapist in their right mind would ever think it's appropriate to go into somebody, to move into somebody's home. And this is the thing we know about abusers, psychopaths, narcissists, sociopaths, cult leaders. One of the things they do, they separate you from your friends, family, and support group, which is exactly what they did here. And we know that Jodi, she says that everybody has SA issues or intimacy issues. Please infer. And when it comes to Kevin, what we have heard is that Jodi, in her meetings, she would say, if you self-pleasure, then you are going to get put on testosterone blockers. The second offense, you're removed from your family, no contact from family and your spouse for 6 months. Was Kevin put on testosterone? Because a lot of people are going to ask, where was Kevin? And yeah, Kevin was brainwashed. Kevin was abused, most likely, and that's awful. But he still should have stepped up for his kids. Did she do things medically to him? And is that one of the reasons she puts them on testosterone blockers? So that she can get them in a calm, docile state and take over and do whatever she wants. I mean, the amount of craziness and insanity and levels this is going to go, I can't imagine. And this trial is going to get really interesting. And this is one of the reasons I've been covering this story, because I know more and more is going to come out and we're going to learn a lot. And what I hope is we learn a lot about abusers from this so we can spot these signs and educate our children if they go through this or see their friends and family going through this. I don't know. What do you guys think about all this? Now, keep in mind that these family are from the Frankie side. They're from Kevin's side. So they're going to be a bit more biased towards Kevin, which is understandable. However, they've been saying the same stuff we are, and I'm really wondering what else is going to come out during court. Tell me what you guys think. I want to hear your opinions. Sound off in the comments and click the plus sign because I've got more.
So please come home, Dominique. Please. Please come home. Because we missing you and your son missing you. Just come home. Please.
What's up, everybody? All right, you guys, so before we get started, if you're not already following me, make sure you hit that follow button, and you guys, make sure you blow this video up, share this one, because we need your help in finding Dominique Lomax. So this takes place in Memphis, Tennessee, and it is about a 27-year-old mother of one. On Monday, September 4th, Dominique Lomax's family grew worried when they couldn't get in contact with her. Now, after calling Dominique's phone repeatedly, a man did answer the phone. So allegedly, this man told the family he didn't know who phone this was, but he was doing yard work when he found the phone. Now, the sister was able to go and retrieve Dominique's phone, but after still not being able to locate Dominique, they went ahead and filed a missing persons report. Now, allegedly, from what the family is saying, Dominique was last seen with this man right here. So after the family got the phone, they're saying that he's the one who knew the passcodes, he knew everything that was in the phone, and they found it kind of suspicious. So allegedly, from what I'm gathering, now I'm not very sure, but I'm thinking that this is Dominique's ex-boyfriend. As police began to investigate the disappearance of Dominique, they then talked to that same exact man, who tells police that yes, he did see Dominique on Sunday. Now he's telling police that he saw Dominique and he dropped her off at the Highland Meadows apartment around 5 a.m. What's odd about this is this man, who we're believing to be Dominique's boyfriend, is saying that he dropped Dominique off to meet another man by the name of Rico. He told police that after that, Dominique texted him and said she was going inside the apartment, but he hasn't heard from her or seen her since. Now, the family is finding it kind of odd because later on they get information that somebody saw Dominique being beat up and dragged into a car by this man. So although this has not been verified by police or anyone else, the family strongly believes that this man right here may hold the key to where Dominique is. Seeing as that he was the last person with her, he knew all the information in her phone, he knew how to get in her phone. They feel like he knows more than what he's saying.
Called police yesterday after she was not able to get in touch with her daughter. She told police Lomax was missing from the Highland Meadows apartments on Airways Boulevard. The report says Lomax's boyfriend told officers he dropped her off at the complex just before 5 Sunday morning. He told police minutes later Lomax texted him that she was going to walk in, and that was the last time he said he heard from her. About 2 miles away on Lexi Lane, a man told police he was doing yard work when he found a black Galaxy cell phone near Holmes Road.
So y'all, it's very strange that the boyfriend is saying, I just dropped her off at this apartment complex to meet a man. And then later on, another man is saying only 2 miles away is where he found her phone. Now, as her family is desperately searching for her, days later, police make another shocking discovery. Only a few miles away from where all of this was taking place, there was a body found burning on the side of the road. So police say that this body was not burned in a house fire or a car fire, so they're believing that somebody might have killed this person and set the body on fire. As of right now, it has not been identified as a woman or a man, and they are working to try to identify the remains of this person. Dominique's family caught wind of this, and they went to this location, and they are praying that this is not Dominique.
This is the area where she, is missing from.
While we were out reporting on this story, we ran into the family of a missing woman who was last seen less than 2 miles away. The family of Dominique Lomax, a 26.
So like I said before, those remains have not been identified. So Dominique's family is still actively doing searches. If you're in this Memphis area, you guys, please reach out to the family. Please try to help search for Dominique. Now, let me say this. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. We're not accusing anyone of anything. But there is something very suspicious about what the boyfriend is saying. For you to say that you dropped her off with another man at 5 a.m. and that is the last time that anybody has seen her, technically he is the last person that saw Dominique. Now, comment below and let me know your thoughts on this case. Make sure you blow this up and share this. Let's bring Dominique home to her son and to her family.
I just knew I couldn't breathe. I blacked out. I gained consciousness again, but realized he was behind me. And he hadn't realized that I had woken up yet. So I closed my eyes and I held my breath as much as I could. I didn't want him to see me breathing. I was hoping he would just think I was dead and then leave me there. And then he started punching my back and kicking my back, trying to see if I would wake up or breathe, to really see if I was dead or not. He hit my back so hard one time I couldn't hold it anymore, and I just gasped and all the air came out and my eyes flew open, and he straddled me and took a hold of my head and tried to twist my head around to try and snap my neck. That didn't work. He tried it several times. He got very, very angry at that point that he couldn't kill me. He was banging me up against the railing, banging my head up against it. Nothing was working, and finally he just tried to throw me over into the river. My feet got stuck got wrapped around the railing. So then I just kind of hung there, and he got even more mad. The whole time he was just getting angrier and angrier, and finally got me loose. And since it had been raining so much, the water level of the river was up quite a bit, and that was very, very fortunate for me because I fell head first into the river. When I came up, my face was still in the water and my back was floating. I just let my hands and legs just sort of flow with the water and pretended to be dead. I let the river, the current, take me under the bridge. Luckily, there were logs that had been tangled up and stuck underneath the bridge. So I grabbed onto one, and I was trying so hard to be quiet because I knew he was right above me. And I could hear him walking, and I could hear him cursing, and I could see the light from his cigarette. It was so cold in that river, I didn't think I could stay in the water. So I finally was able to quietly pull myself up onto the log and stayed there and waited and watched him. And then I saw his footsteps walking this way, behind me. I waited a few minutes and realized, or hoping, he's gone. So I slowly crawled back into the water. So it wasn't very far, but it seemed to take me forever to finally get to the other side. And then once I got to the shore, I was suddenly very, very nervous, thinking, what if I swam to the wrong side of the shore? What if he really didn't leave and he's just sitting up there? I kind of peeked my head up, looked one way, didn't see anything, looked the other way, I didn't see anything. I took off running. A few cars passed me. They just kept right on going. There's a bar just down the street from where I had come out of. So pretty much every vehicle passing by just assumed I was just some drunken woman from the bar. As soon as I saw it stop, my heart just lifted, and I was so excited, just thinking, okay, this is done. This night is over. He was an off-duty police officer. He took care of me. He didn't leave me at the police station either. He didn't just drop me off and leave. He stayed there the whole time. When the police found him, he had blood all over his shirt and all over his pants, and they asked me if I had seen that. And I said, honestly, I didn't realize it. I didn't notice it. If I had let myself really think about what I had just seen and what had actually occurred at the top of that hill, I would have broken down, and I don't believe that I would have survived either. The whole time I was saying to him about Liz, just, how could you? You have no idea how wonderful of a person you took away.
Her arms were cut off. Her legs were cut off. Her ears were cut off. Her tongue was cut off.